Howdy, howdy, my friends. Chris Erickson right here in San Diego with the Beach Life Group. Today we're going to answer the question, is San Diego still in a seller's market? So a few things that go into that. First off, what is a seller's market? How do we tell if it's a seller's market? And what does that all mean for our current situation where we're sitting right now? So let's get into it. And just as a reminder, we love making these videos for you guys, let you know what's going on in the San Diego real estate market every single week, but we're also real estate agents right here in San Diego. So if you have some questions you think about making a move, be sure to reach out. We got your back when making the move here in San Diego. So what exactly is a seller's market? To keep it real simple, it's basically when demand, the number of buyers out there, is greater than the number of houses for sale or the supply. So demand is greater than supply. So in other words, there's more interested buyers than there are number of homes for sale. So in this situation, sellers are at an advantage. So typically a few things are going to happen in a seller's market. So one thing being, homes are going to sell quicker. Usually they're going to sell for more money, and buyers are going to have less negotiating power. So you as a seller are going to have the upper hand on usually pricing and terms and anything else that is important to you when your home is on the market. And with the competition, the number of buyers out there, a lot of that does lead to bidding wars, which we did see a crazy bidding wars last year going into, right now we're sitting in the early parts of May. May last year is kind of when the market started to turn. But before that, there was a lot of FOMO in the market. There was a lot of competition in the market. Those two combined led to bidding wars, which in turn drive the price up quite a bit. So what exactly can we look at to see if we are in a seller's market? Now, we're boots on the ground every day. We're out there helping sellers and helping buyers. So we can kind of see on both sides of the spectrum what buyers are working with, kind of different price points, different areas, what's going on in different situations. We're also working with sellers every day. So kind of see the offers coming in, where they're coming in, how many are coming in. Something we look at as well is called months supply of inventory. Basically, how long would it take all the homes on the market to be bought up by the current amount of buyers in the market. But basically all this does is put a number on the amount of demand and the amount of supply. Now, typically in a standard, real estate, whatever, not a book, but if you're just looking at real estate in general, you'll read and stuff and kind of figure out, okay, what portion of this, if you're looking at a meter, all right, a seller's market's over here, a buyer's market's over here, typically they're going to say right in the middle here where you're at a neutral market is going to be 6 months. Anything over 6 months is going to be a buyer's market. Anything under 6 months is going to be a seller's market. Now, I don't know if times have changed. San Diego's a little bit different, but I think that it's kind of a little bit skewed. I've been in real estate since 2016 and never seen this number go very high, but in certain times too, we have seen it be a little bit more skewed towards the buyer. So we didn't ever have that 6 month supply, which sometimes during the last 2008 crash and whatnot, it did, potentially creep up that way. But I'm going to put it on a San Diego scale saying neutral market, meaning there's a good amount of buyers and a good amount of sellers. So there is an even supply and demand. It's going to be in that 4 to 5 month time frame, not the 6 months that they typically say. I'm going to say a seller's market. So we're going over here is going to be anything in that 1 to 3 month time frame. Then once you get into that 6 month and above, then you're into that buyer's market, meaning the buyers will have the upper hand. So last month, April 2023, San Diego, 1,524 homes, number of homes on the market. Number of closed sales, 1,251. That's going to give you month supply of inventory of 1.2. So you can see we're heavily skewed into a seller's market. So to answer your question, yes, we are in a seller's market, but there's a few other factors that you could keep eye on as well. The other factors are going to give you an idea of how, even though the month supply is super low, but how competitive is it out there? So how heavy are we in a seller's market? There's a few different things. So one other factor that comes into account is the percent of list price received, the original list price. So a home was listed at $1 million. Where did it sell for? Did it sell for 1.1 million or did it sell for 900,000? Or did it sell right at list? So currently right now in April or so, last month's numbers came out. The list price to sales price was 99.5%. So people are getting very close to the list price, to their original list price of what they put their home on the market for. Compare that to last year, it was sitting at 106.7%. So you could see last year, 2022, compared to the seller's market of this year, are vastly different. So in that $1 million mark, people are getting $995,000 for their home, where last year they were getting $1,000,000 and $67,000 for your home. So you can see, just put it in monetary terms, there's quite a difference in the amount of demand we see this year compared to last year. Now this year, don't get me wrong, we do have a lot of demand still, but I'll get you into the different price levels and stuff kind of in the next little step. Another factor that ties into how hot is the market right now, you can see how many active homes on the market have had a price drop, where like the market did change last year, kind of right around this time, it did start creeping up, where kind of at the peak, it peaked out about 9% right now of active homes on the market had a price cut. This year, according to Redfin, they're sitting about 3.5% of homes on the market have had a price cut. So comparing that to the same time last year, it's basically, it just crossed over where it was last year. So last year was about 3.8% of homes on the market had a price cut. So in that factor, we're still relatively the same as 2022. And one more factor that's important to see how hot the market is, or how much of a seller's market we're in, is looking at the time that homes sit on the market before they do sell. So the days on the market. And where is that really trending? So compared to last year, in April, the homes were on the market for 12 days, which is crazy. We saw a lot of times go out and about, we see a home come on the market Thursday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday showings. By Monday, they'd have a ton of offers. So, I mean, that's like a 5-day time period, maybe some negotiating time, so like 7 days. So 12 days is pretty darn low in the scheme of things. Now, San Diego as a whole, like long term, we don't go too high. Down during the last crash, yes, there was some volatility. There was some homes that sat on the market for a while. There was a lot of inventory. There wasn't a ton of buyers. So totally a different time frame. But typically, I've even think since like 2013, the longest average time on the market was about 60 days, kind of in that time frame. So last year was 12 days on the market. Homes sat on the market 12 days before they sold. This year, we've doubled that. So in April of 2023, homes were sitting on the market for 24 days. So what does that all mean, and where are we currently? Well, I'm gonna break it down and give you a little example. Instead of houses, let's put cars in there. I know a lot of you guys out there drive Teslas, so it's a lot easier to picture 10 cars on a lot as opposed to 10 houses just randomly skewing around San Diego. So let's put it 10 cars on a lot, compare it to 2022. Let's say those 10 cars out there was 100 plus buyers for those 10 cars. So with the 100 people looking to get those 10 cars, what do you think happened? The prices went up. The competition was super strong. There was bidding wars. There was actually some FOMO too, where people saw the other person before them get that car. Now there's only 9 left. And so last year's market, 2022, it was basically across the board where we were seeing a ton of competition. Didn't matter what section of the market you were in, entry level, move up, or luxury. So let's break it down this year into the 3 different categories. We're going to go with the Model 3, which is the entry level Tesla. This year, entry level is definitely seeing the most competition that we do have right now. Sellers are definitely in those entry level. Entry level is different too for every different city. So Encinitas is going to be different than San Marcos, is different than Poway. It really depends on what's that entry level price point where you are looking to sell your house. So for those entry levels, the Model 3, where last year it was a 10-to-1, there was a ton of competition. Right now, entry level, like I said, is different for every city, but we're seeing probably like a 5-to-1 ratio. So there's going to be like 50 people looking to get into those 10 Teslas. So this is definitely the most competitive area of the market right now. Anybody looking to get into their first home or entry level for any different city. A lot of the numbers that I'm going through too are just for detached homes. But the story for townhomes and condos is relatively the same. Now hopping into the next level up, let's go with the Model Y, kind of that move up, a little bit more luxury, a little bit more space in there. And this year we're sitting probably about 30 to 40 buyers for those 10 cars. So the ratio is a little smaller. There's still competition for this price point, but definitely not as heavy as it was last year. Then getting into the Model S, the luxury version, let's go with the top level. There's still not a lot of inventory, even in the high end. You haven't seen that huge buildup of the number of homes sitting on the market, but equating it back to the Teslas, you're going to have about 5 to 10 buyers for those 10 Teslas. So simply said, going back to the title of this video, are we in a seller's market? Absolutely. It just really depends on what segment of the market you are in. If you guys have questions on where you're at, what neighborhood, because it's neighborhood to neighborhood, it's really dependent on what's happening in your specific neck of the woods. Like I said, if you do have questions, all the information is right below. Feel free to reach out. We got your back when making the move here in San Diego.